I'm upset that my best friend didn't ask me to be a bridesmaid. Now I'm wondering if I have the right to feel hurt. My best friend got engaged and I was the first person she told, and the person she shares all her secrets, news etc. with no matter what it is. Months later she was hosting a BBQ. The night before she texted me to say she was announcing her bridesmaids at the BBQ, and she wanted me to know. At this point I believed her bridesmaids were her cousins like she always said would be the case. She also still wanted me to go wedding dress shopping, help her plan the wedding etc. I of course told her I was happy for her and would love to. At the BBQ then appears personalized boxes for 3 of her friends and 2 cousins asking them to be bridesmaids. I had several people at the BBQ ask me, "Shouldn't you be over there?" Or, "Aren't you one of the bridesmaids?" Including people I'd never met before. I wondered if maybe she thought we drifted since I had my kids and I hadn't been seeing her as much, so I didn't say anything. A few months later she finally fell pregnant, and I was the very first person she told. Not her mom, her partner, her maid of honor, none of them. Another couple of months pass and I ask her the reason, as I just can't wrap my head around it. The only reason I can think is because I stand out, blue hair, piercings, tattoos, and her other friends are girly girls. She was not happy. Am I the asshole for asking for an explanation? Next story. I told my best friend that she's really privileged and that her problems are her own fault. Now she's upset, and I'm wondering if I was too harsh. I've been trying to be supportive and give some non-pushy advice when she seems to want it, but she seems determined to ruin her own life. We're both 23 if that matters. I know she was sheltered, and I know she's gone through some terrible situations in life, but she's really protected in a way I wouldn't be if I was in the same circumstances. She keeps making these really awful decisions, and I know that she needs to vent sometimes, but it's really frustrating when she doesn't seem to be making any effort to improve anything she's constantly complaining about. As some examples, she just lost out on a job offer because she showed up 20 minutes late, then she complained to me about how bad transit was and how much she hates capitalism and how she'll never find a job. She complains about not being able to find a job, and about how poor she is, and how much she needs money, but won't even apply for anything minimum wage or anything that isn't her ideal job. Her parents are literally sending her rent money, and she keeps complaining to me about how she can't afford fun purchases and how having to pay money for rent is stupid even though it's not even her money. She didn't renew her passport until a month before she needs it, and then got frustrated that wait times were over a month. She's got her associates, but she's only 2 classes away from her bachelor's, but if it ever comes up she just deflects by saying university is a scam. I probably shouldn't have, but AITA for telling her problems were her own fault. It wasn't a nice thing to say, but I was really tired of listening to the same complaints with absolutely no effort to fix them. Next story. I told my brother and SIL there's nothing I can do about their Christmas card photos being unsendable. Now they're upset, but I don't think it's my fault. My brother and SIL got their Christmas card photo taken about a month ago now. They used a friend of mine who does family photos. This has apparently encouraged them to expect a lot out of me. Because now they have a problem, and they don't know what to do. My brother and SIL have been married for 3 years and have a 6-month-old together. SIL also has 2 older kids, 13 and 11, from her first marriage. She was a widow when my brother met her. They are not the nicely blended family they wanted to be, and her kids from the first marriage didn't want to be in the photos. There was a huge battle to take them, but the kids look a mix of angry and disgusted in all of them. Like legit glaring and looking ready to puke. While my SIL and brother are smiling and the baby looks peaceful. A couple of them even show how distant they want to be from my brother and the baby. It's like they're leaning away from them. SIL said the photos are unsendable, and there's no way she could let family and friends see them. But I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. They complained to me 3 times so far, and the last time they told me I need to do something and fix it. I asked them what they expected me to do, that I'm not the kids' favorite person, or even a trusted adult in their eyes, and I can't magically erase their expressions. My friend was honest with them while the photos were being taken, but they didn't take it serious until they saw them. I told him after back and forth that there's nothing I can do about the photos being unsendable. Tail told me I'm not being very supportive. AITA? Next story. I've come to the realization that he's never going to change. Now I feel like I've wasted my life, and I don't know what to do. I am 34, have been with my partner, am 43, for 16 years. We were 18 and 27 when we started dating. We met when I was 16. I was obsessed with him, but he wasn't interested in me. We fell out of contact and then met again. When we started our relationship, we were actually in a very equal place. I know the age gap is off-putting, but it was never an issue. We were both working similar retail jobs, we earned similar money, we had the same education level, we enjoyed the same things, we hated the same things, we were just incredibly compatible. We didn't argue for the first 2 to 3 years of our relationship. He supported everything I chose to do. He cheered me on, he was amazing and vibrant and unconditionally loving. During our 16-year relationship, I have continued to push my career. I now own my own business, fairly successful, to the point where it essentially runs itself and I just work there. I have learned languages. My tastes in music and film has changed. I am not the same person we were when we met. But he is. 3 years ago, he had a traumatic incident in his workplace. He has not been able to go back to work. Which is fine, financially we are fine, could always be better, but we survive better than some. But he doesn't do anything around the house. He thinks he does, but he really doesn't. He tells me he does, but there's no evidence of it. For sake of argument, let's look at last night. I had a really long day in work, nightmare customer, and nothing just seemed to go right no matter what I did. So at one point in the day, I sent him a message saying I could really use a big old cuddle when I get in. His response: "Don't worry about a thing, dogs will be walked, house will be tidy, and tea will be ready when you walk through the door. Do you want to take a guess what I was met with when I walked in?" Dogs needed to be walked. House was a mess, which I don't understand. It was tidy when I left. We don't have kids and the dogs haven't used the 6 dishes that are in the sink, and not even a thought of what tea was supposed to be, let alone it being ready. I didn't say anything. I just gave him a kiss and started doing the washing up. I was really upset that nothing he said would be done was done, but I didn't want to argue. I just wanted it done. As soon as I start washing up, he says, "Oh babe, don't worry about that, I'll do it now." Now I didn't mean this any other way than what I said, but I replied with, "It's fine, I'm here now, I'll have it done in a minute," which I did. But in that minute, he had gone upstairs and started to hoover. Fine, great, wonderful. A minute after that, he is banging the head of the hoover on the floor and literally having a tantrum because he has managed to block the hoover, which he then throws to the ground and storms off. So now I have to fix the hoover, which I do, because surprisingly slamming the head of the hoover on the floor won't clear the blockage. In fact, it just jams the head of the hoover onto the pipe, creating a vacuum. Don't do it, but reaching in and just pulling the blockage out will. So after I fix the hoover and proceed to clean the carpets, I go back downstairs. He is now sat on the chair in the kitchen, claiming that he has had a terrible day and that he is so incredibly underappreciated. Aghast, but still not wanting an argument, I tell him I am sorry I have made him feel that way, harness the dogs, and take them out. Bear in mind I got out of work at 5 p.m., got home, tidied up, etc. It's now 6:10 p.m. and I have about 40-50 minutes of light left to walk the dogs in. They are high-energy breeds and need a good run, so by the time I get back at 7:20 p.m., pitch black out, and he's worried about me. And because he was worried, he hasn't put tea on yet. So I do that. I left for work at 6:30, and I am still going. He goes through ups and downs of doing everything and doing nothing. But this pattern of promising me things and then never following, though, is happening a lot more recently. And ever increasingly, I am being blamed for his shortcomings. If something goes bad in the day, it's because I didn't do Z's, although oftentimes he hasn't told me Z's needed doing, or he has told me not to do it. I have had the conversation with him many times about the fact I am not a mind reader, and sometimes we have to talk to actually achieve an outcome. In the 16 years we have been together, I have become an adult. I run the house and the business. I have duties. I have people who rely on me. He doesn't want that, and that's fine, but he's doing nothing to help his partner either. He says he feels underappreciated, but I know I am underappreciated. Is this the whole sunk cost fallacy thing? We have been together so long. Our lives are completely entangled. I never wanted to get married. I wanted kids at one point, but I feel like I have delayed that because I think deep down I don't know if I want them with him. He feels like the same person I met 18 years ago, and I feel like somebody completely different. I thought we would grow together. But he is never going to change, is he? And I am just an idiot and a dick for thinking he would grow with me, and despite all of this, I can't imagine my life without him. But this isn't the life I imagined. I feel like I am being awful. I feel like I need to do more, but I don't have anything left, but I can't say that because then he will say that I am purposefully trying to make him feel bad. I am just exhausted.